Hi, my name's Callum. I work for Training Bite Size, the lead APM trainer. So today I want to just do a very short video that discusses what we'll probably be covering or will be covering on the PFQ should you come on a 2-day course with me. If you may have watched the introductory video, but PFQ is a multiple choice exam. Therefore, it's very definition focused, very buzzword focused, and it's about memorizing and understanding things like processes and what's involved in those processes. So what we'll be covering on the PFQ then, I'm just going to whiz through what we will look at. This is very high level. We'll look at projects, programs and portfolios. That's probably going to be the morning, probably the very first thing we talk about actually, just to set a bit of a tone for the course, is what projects are and their relationship to programs and portfolios as well. We'll then look at something like project context, which is how projects, what the environment is that a project works within. And we'll look at tools like PESTLE, SWOT and VUCA. Obviously, they're acronyms. We won't be discussing those right now. You may have recognised one or two of them, perhaps. And then we'll look at the project lifecycle. So what a linear lifecycle is and what that involves, the phases of a linear lifecycle. And then we'll look at an iterative lifecycle and what the phases of that involve. We will discuss hybrid as well. So that's where you combine the two. Again, we'll discuss that more if you come on the course with me. We then need to look at stakeholder engagement, so how we engage with stakeholders, what stakeholder analysis means, the relationship with that analysis and the communications plan we develop from it, we will discuss. And then we'll look at roles and responsibilities, so we'll discuss who's involved in the team, who supports the team, who does the team report to, so to speak. So we'll look at the hierarchy and then what those roles involve actually doing as well. From that point onwards, we're mostly looking at planning in some way, shape or form. So we'll discuss business cases and the importance of business cases in a project, so what they're for, what the content is, and then we'll also discuss the project management plan itself. So again, what it's for, content of, ownership of those documents too will need to be discussed, or we will discuss. And then from that point onwards, a lot of it is going to tie back to that project management plan in some way, shape or form, because the next kind of topics I would typically talk about after we've discussed that project management plan will be scoping and scheduling. So scoping being what we're doing, as it were, scheduling being when we're doing it, in very, very simple terms. So we'll expand on those. We'll look at breakdown structures with scoping, look at assigning people to tasks as part of scoping, and then scheduling, we'll look at things like critical path, resourcing and things like that. From that point onwards, that's probably going to take us up to day one there. That's typically where I end up with, somewhere during that scoping and scheduling topic. Either the end of day one or possibly morning of day two, we will look at risk management. So we'll go through the risk process. So the process for managing risk, the responses we have for risk, the difference between risk and issues, analysing risk we'll discuss. And then we'll also talk about procurement as well. Procurement, fairly high level for PFQ, in that we won't be deep diving into how to create procurement strategies or what the full content of a procurement strategy is. It'll be very high level. What we will be looking at though is things like what are the phases of supplier selection, types of contractual arrangement, and reimbursement methods. So those are the sort of things we'll talk about for procurement. From then onwards, we're going to look at quality management. So how we manage quality within a project. So looking at quality assurance versus control, what the differences are between those two, and then quality planning as well. So how we plan to manage quality throughout our project. And then the next two are very related, though they are often, I would consider them two separate things, even though they're very related. We've got change control, which is about how we control change through a project to stop it getting out of control. And then configuration management. So that relationship with configuration management and change control, how they connect, why they're important to have collaborating with each other. You can't have change control without configuration management effectively. You need both. And we'll talk about the processes for both change control and configuration management as part of the PFQ. We'll then start with, towards the end of the course, then we'll look at reviews. So I'll kind of be a recap, a little bit of life cycles to a point, in that we'll work through what reviews are, when we're doing them in the life cycle, and what they kind of involve and who's accountable for them. And then to finish off the second day before the exam, we will look at leadership, teamwork and communication. So the importance of teamwork in a project, the importance of leadership in a project, and then types of communication, barriers to communication we need to be mindful of, and then obviously the importance of communication in a project. So that's the kind of topics we'll be discussing on PFQ. I look forward to seeing you on a course at some point. Thank you very much.